everybody. Today we're working on lesson 9.12, adding and subtracting mixed numbers. All right, so today we're adding and subtracting mixed numbers. Now, there's three simple steps. One, you add the fractions, and then, or subtract. Make sure you're always looking for the sign, because there's a mixed signs, pluses and minuses on the whole paper. So you add or subtract just the fractions, then you add or subtract, I didn't write that in there, the whole numbers, and then you look at your answer and decide, is it in simplest form? So let me give you an example here. We have 5 1/4, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1 part of 4, added to 2 2/4, 1, 2, 2 shaded in of 4 parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the fractions first. Okay, and I have 1/4 and 2/4. Well, luckily they have the same denominator, so all I need to do is look at the numerators. 1 plus 2 is 3, so I have 3/4. And then I look at my whole numbers, 5 and 2. 5 and 2 is 7, so my final answer is 7 3/4. But make sure you look at the fraction, and I have a little question mark there to remind you, is it in simplest form? In this case, 3/4 is in simplest form, so your final answer is 7 3/4. So let's check out a couple other examples. All right, so our next example is a plus problem. Make sure you always look at the signs. That way you're not subtracting when you're adding or adding when you're supposed to subtract. Here we have 3 2/3 plus 1/3. So we can call that a 0 here, and we don't have to write it in, or you can write one in, it's up to you. So again, we add the fractions. 3 is the denominator in both fractions, so that all that means is we need to add the numerators. We have our 2 plus our 1, which is 3/3, and then we have our whole number, which is 3 plus 0, which is 3. Now we do need to check, is it in simplest form? In this case, our fraction is 3/3, which we know is 1 whole. So what we're actually going to do is add our whole number, 3, and we're going to add it to that 1. And now our final answer will be 4. Second problem is a minus problem. I'll make sure you identify that first so you're not doing the wrong adding or subtracting. So we have 6 9/12 and 6 5/12. Well, we can subtract the fractions. 12 is the denominator in both of them. So all we do is subtract the numerators. 9 minus 5 is 4. And then we put our 12 here. 6 minus 6 is 0. I wrote it in just so you could see it. We have 4/12. But is it in its simplest form? No. I do know that 4 is a multiple of 12. But if you're not sure, you can do the factors 1 times 4 and then 2 times 2 and 1 times 12 and 2 times 6 and 3 times 4. So you can see 4 is common. Then you're going to divide 4 divided by 4, which is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So your final answer is going to be 1/3. Lastly, what if our problem doesn't have common denominators? Okay, what do? Well, just like our directions say, we add the fractions first. So we kind of go back to what we've done the last few days, is where we have to find the least common multiple. Okay, so we have 3, 6, 9, 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, 3 times 4. And then we have 2, which is 2 times 1, 2 times 2, 2 times 3. I see 6 is common. So now I have to determine how many times does 3 go into 6. It goes in 2 times. And I do that also to the numerator at the top. And I do the same thing here. How many times does 2 go into 6? Well, that's 3 times. So then I do the same thing to the top. So my new fraction would be 2 6 and plus 3 6. Well, then we have 5 6. Then I check it just to make sure that it's in simplest form, and it is. Then I can add my whole numbers, 3 and 2, which is 5, and my final answer is 5 5/6. Yes, there's lots of steps, boys and girls, but I think it's a lot of fun to work on, And when you get that final answer, it's just very rewarding. So keep working hard. Look for all the things that you need to look for, and go ahead and do the problems in your practice section. And if you have any questions, please contact me.